apparently I'm having a panicked attack, an outburst. No, I'm not. Are these Russian spies really people that acceded to, or after some point of being tortured without maybe a consciousness of forethought, were put into a situation where they were labeled as mentally ill and then put into some sort of special program so that some sort of telemedication regime could be hooked up on them with an understanding that later it would be used as part of a weaponization effort domestically after it had been tested abroad. And when you say that Trump had contact with Russian spies, what you really mean is that his son in law and his son in law's family, as well as his family as well, have significant investments in telemedication and in biometric account industries, as well as the gaming world and other aspects of the internet technology sector. And so these Russian spies are actually Americans that have been allowed to be availed of that Russian water that came of those early investments. And when the Obama administration did their little chastisement of Russia because they didn't re sign up for that memorandum of understanding around nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons disposal because it was disgusting. And what was America's understanding of weapons disposal was actually completely horrible. And then they just exercised their option not to sign up. And then Obama tried to chastise them and berate them and sanction them and pull licenses from people that were ostensibly engaged in some sort of commercial activity with the United States. And then you recirculated that to certain people so that then they would get to try on that like Russia stuff. And then the recharacterization of whatever the former Soviet Union was would would come about as some sort of social protest movement. And so some of you want to be able to capitalize on it, as part of advocating for racial justice. And so the Russia spy stuff is actually about people in the United States that at various levels have been a part of this complete recharacterization and redistribution of former Russian assets to make it look like the former Soviet Union did not deliver on all those deals we set up in the post-Soviet era. That's why you never told us about all the bonds connected to the former Soviet industries. That's why you never allowed for an actual understanding of the difference between how the former Soviet Union defined its weapons paradigm and how the United States wanted to mask its biological weapons paradigm and its chemical weapons paradigm under the auspices of healthcare, right? And all of these other things that have been insulting to pretty much the rest of the world. And why it is that you allowed for the rollout of 5G after completely abrogating any international compacts we had around 4G and refused to adhere to appropriate standards in compliance following the rollout of 3G, which has had an impact on pretty much every major infrastructure or industrial sector in the United States. And has gone hand in hand with this process of complete abstraction and proxying of any sort of actual national security mandate we needed to actually fulfill domestically, while we have bankrupted the government with completely fraudulent mischaracterizations of the actual liabilities incurred under alleged emergency disaster scenarios. For real. See, at some point, we have to get into what happened during that ice storm. Right? What was it, 2014, 2015? There was supposed to be a huge ice storm that happened in the Northeast. I was in California, right? So I had no idea really what was going on. But it was reported for like over a month. People were under ice and snow, and the electricity was off for over a month in places like New York, Connecticut. What did you do? What did you do to those people that now nobody will tell the truth about anything? What did you do to the people in Texas in 2012 through 2015 when people were starting to advocate for some sort of acknowledgement of what was going on with the smart meter program? There used to be information. There used to be organizing in Texas. But then around the time they started going through what they understood to be the appropriate process with the Public Utilities Commission, you had a bunch of skeezy, disgusting lawyers filing completely frivolous law claims with the Supreme Court around insurance. Like 400 insurance claims were bundled onto their efforts to go through the Public Utilities Commission to get some redress. You know what happened to that? Hurricane Harvey. That's exactly what you did. That's not intelligence. That is a crime at a really, really high level. What happened to the 9/11 Commission? What did you do to Cynthia McKinney's and the 9/11 Commission? You guys are going to have to deal with this. You're not going to say, well, we're not going to disclose. The cat's already out of the bag. What are you going actually pay for what you set up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't say you're not going to disclose. You're not going to disclose what you did in the Northeast? Or you're not going to disclose what you're doing with those directed energy weapons right now in California? You're not going to disclose what you did in multiple states where people were actually advocating for awareness of the smart meter program and what that entailed? So you're not going to disclose your complicity with a genocidal, extortionate campaign against your own people. You're murdering your own people. You're torturing your own people. You want to say it's counterintelligence? How many times do you think you could get these hussies on TV and these jackasses aren't even real fucking journalists on TV to give us a bunch of crap and expect us to accept it? You know, I'm about ready to change my mind about being a fucking drug dealer. You know that? I'm really about ready to change my fucking mind. You don't seem to have a fucking problem cutting deals with narcos. Real narcos. Real people that have no other interest than to drug your own people into shutting up and letting you take our lives and sell our children.